evening. Good evening, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join us here at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition's open house. We truly appreciate your presence here. So before we get started, I'd like to mention a few housekeeping rules. As you can see on the slide, would you mind muting your microphones to cut out any background noise during our presentation? And also by attending this presentation, you acknowledge that it is being recorded for distribution to those who are unable to attend or for marketing purposes. This presentation tonight provides information about the CSNN distance education programs and options. Please feel free to post your questions anytime in the chat below. We'll address your inquiries during the presentation if possible, or if not, at the end of the presentation. So feel free to ask any questions at the end. At that point, we're all here. We're all here to help and answer any questions you may have. My name is Julie Nelson. I'm a holistic nutritionist and lead instructor here at CSNN Distance Education. Joining me today and giving the presentation is Christine Armstrong. Christine, oh, is anyone else seeing a double slide there? I see Vita's beautiful face covered up with print, but maybe it's just my screen. Anyway, Christine Armstrong, that beautiful face on the left, is joining me today, and she'll be giving the presentation. Christine is the General Manager and Student Support Specialist for CSNN Distance Education. She's a registered holistic nutritionist and a graduate of ours, actually. Our president, Caleb Souls, will be working behind the scenes today, answering your chat questions. And we are thrilled to introduce you to Vita Shariar, a holistic nutritionist and graduate, again, of CSNN, who has just joined our team as an instructor for our brand new Fundamentals of Business course and our Nutritional Symptomatology course as well. Vita is also an attorney, so with her unique combination of expertise in both holistic nutrition and law, she brings a comprehensive understanding of the importance of a healthy and holistic lifestyle, and she has the business acumen to help CSNN's holistic nutrition students succeed after graduation. So welcome, Vita.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Julie, for that lovely introduction.
Oh, any time. Inquiring minds want to know what drew you to natural nutrition?
That's a great question. So like Julie said, my name is Vita. I just want to say I'm super excited to be here with you all. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to each of you and a special thank you to Christine, Julie, Caleb, and the rest of the incredible CSNN team for having me here today and for facilitating these open houses for prospective students like yourself. And I think it's an incredible opportunity for the public to learn more about the program, its benefits, and the lifelong value that can be gained here. So to your question, Julie, what drew me to natural nutrition? It's a really great question and one that I get asked very often, and maybe many of you who are joining today can resonate with this. So my journey to natural nutrition began unexpectedly when I was in law school. It's where I faced a series of health conditions and challenges, essentially extreme burnout. And I initially brushed it off thinking it was just a phase and part of life. And I realized that that was not the case. I wanted to get to the root of my symptoms and not just find temporary relief, but something that allows me to understand my body and what I really needed to thrive. And so this shift in mindset led me to CSNN, where we explore natural dietary and lifestyle changes that are, lifelong and therefore our optimal wellness. And so along the way, I developed a deep appreciation for this, and I found myself at CSNN.
That sounds good. And so what made you choose CSNN in particular?
Another great question. So the reason why I chose CSNN is because of the values that it brings. So the academic support at CSNN is really one of a kind, and being in law school and getting different accreditations, I have to say CSNN was the one school that stood out to me. And the reason for that is because the instructors are not just teachers, they're mentors, and they genuinely care about your success. They work closely with you, offering personalized guidance so that you never feel like you're alone in the process. And so this one-on-one support really helps build your confidence, preparing you for what's ahead, no matter where you are in your journey. And the training is very thorough, giving you the knowledge and to allow you to start your business pretty much post-graduation. So that's really exciting. Another thing that I love about CSNN is their emphasis on time management. Being a distance ed program, meaning that you can do it from the comfort of your home, it's not just about getting through the assignments, but the instructors and the faculty really help you develop skills to succeed in all areas of your life. So I thought that I would just be gaining knowledge about diet and lifestyle, but CSNN was more than that. It was life-changing and absolutely the best decision I've ever made.
Hmm. Well, that's nice to hear. Although I have heard that from a lot of other students too, so you're not alone. That's very cool. So at this time, I would like to introduce you to Christine Armstrong. She has prepared a very comprehensive and informative presentation today that covers topics about our school, program options, course descriptions, and much, much, much more. So are you ready to go, Christine?
I'm ready to go. So hopefully everybody can see my slide. I think the first thing I wanted to do is tell you a little bit about CSNN and who we are and what we do. So I would say the first in-person classroom was founded in 1994. So that means that we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. And distance education was founded shortly afterwards. We initially provided curriculum in a paper-based format that was mailed to students many years ago. But in 2015, we made a transition to the online platform, reflecting the rapid evolution of technology and the progress in this field. So CSNN has a curriculum committee that continuously reviews and updates our program curriculum and resources as well. So the program that we saw back in 1994 when we were first founded is much more evolved today. Before we dive into the actual program options, I thought it might be a great idea to talk about the principles that define natural nutrition. In our program, the properties of natural nutrients are summed up in 4 words for us: natural, alive, and good quality. Um, when we say natural, we mean unprocessed, unrefined foods such as whole grains and legumes. Alive, we refer to alive as we mean, food that contains the most nutrition possible. So fresh, still containing vitamins and minerals and some really all those important enzymes that are necessary for health. And
Christine,
lastly, good quality, meaning food that is grown in soil that is rich in essential nutrients, preferably organic and free from pesticides and synthetic fertilizers.
Christine, may I interject?
Sure.
Are you able to refresh your slides? They're in the presentation, they're doubled over top of each other.
Hopefully that looks a little bit better. Everybody
That's
can see
clear.
that? Perfect. Okay.
Thank you, Christine.
There's nothing worse when technology fails. When
We're
it
used
fails,
to
it
it.
really fails. But that
Right.
looks like we got through it okay.
No big deal.
Thanks for everybody's patience. That actually gives us some time because there's a few people in the waiting room waiting for us. And anyway, so that gives us a chance to log in. So that's great. So moving on. So let's talk about our programs. So distance education students complete the program options online, completely online. It's a part-time, self-directed and self-paced delivery model. So in other words, we're asynchronous, we're not live. The following program options are provided online. So we do the Natural Nutrition Diploma program, the Introductory Certificate package, the Healthy Eating and Lifestyle Certificate, and the Holistic Culinary Certificate. So due to time constraints, we'll be highlighting some important information about each of the program options. But if for more information or detail, I'd recommend that you request the brochure from us. It'll come to me directly. If anybody, I see some familiar names here. I am the person who sends out all the brochure information and talks to people about our program from day to day. So feel free to request the information. You can get that by sending an email to info@csnndistanceeducation.org. If I can get Caleb to put our email address into the chat box for everybody. If you haven't received our program options and supporting documents information, please feel free to request that. And I'll be happy to forward that over to you. It'll fill in a lot of the information that we may not necessarily have covered here today. So as mentioned, all program options are self-directed and self-paced. So as students, you will have access to your studies 24/7. That being said, we do provide some recommendations. We attach those to your welcome letter to sort of help you kind of schedule your time and give you an idea how to divide your time. But really, ultimately, it's up to you to be able to plan your time around. That's also where I come in. If people are having difficulty with time management or with, with scheduling or completing courses, people are welcome to set up an appointment with me, and we can work together to help get you on a maybe a schedule that's going to work for you. We have real instructors assigned to each of these courses, and they can answer the questions that you have about the course material as well. And they're contacted using the messaging system in our learning management system. If anybody's used Moodle, that is the platform that we use. And programs are completed within the timeline allotted for the program option that you're enrolled in. And we'll get into some more details about that in just a sec. So registrations are completed online. In the case of the Natural Nutrition Diploma program, you would choose a payment plan option. You provide the payment method via our secure payment processing system. The system will take a deposit of $200. And then it comes to me, and then I will finish the processing the payment, adjusting your payment schedules and that kind of thing according to the plans that you've chosen. Once that the balance of the first payment or full payment if you're paying in full is processed, then we also then arrange to have textbooks shipped to you, give you online access, all of those things as well. We accept payment using all major credit cards. If you're a bank with a Canadian financial institution, you can use a bank draft or a money order or personal check. We're also, in some cases, taking e-transfers if people need to. Where applicable, we will ship the physical textbooks to you according to the payment plan option and unlock those online accesses to the lessons and assignments and your evaluations and that kind of thing. Currently, there are 12 physical textbooks and the rest are ebooks that are accessed from inside each course. And when completing the coursework, you're completing quizzes and tests. All of these quizzes and tests are open book, but they are timed. And, with the exception of the final board exam. So the final board exam is an exam that you write at the end when you've completed all of your course requirements. And it tests your ability to provide recommendations to a client. So you're given a case history, and then you're asked to answer some questions about that case history. We do recommend that you complete the courses in numerical order, but if you have access to a course, you can potentially do it out of order as long as you have access to it. We're often asked if the diplomas are different, based on classroom versus the distance education, and the answer is actually no. All students in both in class or online write the same standardized board exam. So distance education utilizes an online proctor called Proctor Free for the Natural Nutrition final board exam, which allows you to complete the exam really anywhere you have access to high-speed internet. And one of the most frequent other questions we receive is that what kind of job can I get after I graduate from Natural Nutrition, the program? And that said, ultimately finding employment is based on availability in your area, and the requirements for employment are determined by the employer. If you have a specific career goal in mind, always be sure to do your research. But as you can see, our graduates can find jobs in many different sectors of the wellness industry. Some graduates enjoy careers in self-employment as consultants. They may work in clinics specializing in specific areas. Maybe education and fitness are also common areas where graduates seek employment as well. Some of our graduates will go on to specialize maybe in weight loss, or many graduates work with supplements in areas such as research, training, sales. Maybe the culinary industry is an interest of you. Many of our graduates have previous skills that they are looking into nutritional education to augment the services that they're offering. And since Environmental responsibility is such a strong undercurrent in our program. Many graduates are inspired to participate in green industry, such as organic farming or community garden initiatives, that kind of thing. Some graduates find themselves working for government programs or not-for-profits, and maybe you'd like to become a social influencer or work in media or work for a company developing employee wellness programs. So graduates don't necessarily do one thing. They might actually be working in several sectors at the same time as well. Okay, now this is where we're going to get into the good stuff. This is where we're going to actually talk about the program options. That's why we're all here. So the Natural Nutrition Diploma program consists of 18 courses. So we estimate that the average student's going to expect to expend about 2,100 hours of instruction and study. It covers natural nutrition relevant to each stage of life and the science and research behind it. An integral part of the program discusses the connection between body, mind, and spirit. The program aims to enlighten in a very broad way about the effects of life experiences and mindset on health. Students complete 10 real-life case studies. Of the 2,100 hours, you can expect to spend approximately 900 hours of that on instruction preparation for real-time experiencing case studies. Many of our courses have video content added. We currently have about 200 hours of video content, and we're always adding additional content. From time to time, we put together special webinars to discuss various topics in more depth. Attendance is optional, and we record these sessions and we'll place them in our webinar library for students who are enrolled in the Natural Nutrition Diploma program to enjoy at their own leisure. Students do not have access to our practical exercises, or you don't have to complete our practical exercises if they but if you're interested in sort of exploring some additional educational opportunities, they are there for your review. The practical portion of the program is still under development and is not currently a graduation requirement for existing students in distance ed. That could change in the future as more content is developed. But right now, it's just there in case people are interested in seeing or looking at those options. But for now, anyone who's registered in the program before it's mandatory, you're not required to complete those options. And I would be remiss not to mention that access to our holistic culinary certificate is offered free to all students in the Natural Nutrition Diploma program. It's a free bonus that we've added for anybody who registers into that option. The Natural Nutrition Diploma program is divided into 4 modules. And as you can see from our list of courses, Module 1 consists of Fundamentals 1 and 2, Anatomy and Physiology, and Symptomatology. For more detailed descriptions of the courses, I encourage you to take a look at the brochure information or the CSNN website. Their descriptions are all there. Let's see, Fundamentals 1 and 2 have recently been updated. They still cover the basics of nutrition, things like vitamins and minerals, macronutrients, micronutrients, importance of water and hydration and lifestyle influences. But we've also added a new component to the Fundamentals 2 that demonstrates the importance of food and the nutritional composition of certain foods to optimize nutrition. Anatomy is the first science course in the program. After all, we need to know where our parts are, so this is important. And for an explanation of symptomatology, I'm going to ask Julie to talk about the course.
Hello again, everyone. Hi, I'm one of the instructors of symptomatology. So is Vita Shariar, and we have 2 others that are just fantastic. So symptomatology, well, based on our student surveys, which we give quite often to the students, the nutritional symptomatology course is undoubtedly one of the students' favorites. This straightforward yet invaluable science plays a key role in assessing nutritional deficiencies and imbalances. Most students find writing their first case study absolutely exhilarating. Get that out fast. As it's exhilarating because it sets them on a path to conducting client interviews, which is so exciting. And a lot of times the students have those as a goal. And it also making nutrition and lifestyle recommendations that they'll be able to do through the case study. And then all of these recommendations and writing their first case study is an integral part of their learning experience in the nutritional symptomatology course. So this course equips students with the skills to assess client symptoms in order to identify nutritional imbalances. And this is accomplished by utilizing the information from the intake forms that the school provides. Additionally, we've allocated one mentorship hour each month that Vita is the host for, specifically for students to get together virtually to discuss case studies. So these are mentorship hours that Vita, like I said, she's the hostess for them. And so they've been very successful at creating a feeling of community among distance students, which is really important when you're a distance education student. And then if we want to click the slide, the top of module 2, Christine, you'll see the motivational interviewing skills. So as part of the symptomatology course, you're also required to interview your case study participants as training for eventually setting up your own private holistic nutritionist practice, as I mentioned before. So we offer this course, Motivational Interviewing Skills, in which we equip you with the necessary resources to facilitate positive behavioral change in your clients. So in MI, that's what we call it, you'll be taught techniques to use during a consultation, and CSNN provides the practice opportunities for integrating these skills into your future practice. So it's a very cool, really, it's almost like what did Kirsten, our one instructor, say when she was interviewing, she has private clients, and she said it was a game changer for her, this course. So these are two courses that really work well together, the symptomatology and motivational interviewing skills, right, Christine?
Yeah, I mean, when we work with clients, it's really important that we're aware of how we communicate because it can make a huge difference between success and failure for a client. So that's why we actually created the motivational interviewing skills course because in the Natural Nutrition Diploma program, because it's such an important skill to develop when you're working with your clients. Yeah, so the next course in the module is hormone health. I think this is every woman, every man needs to take this course because hormones really like have affect your life. That's for sure. Particularly people, those of us who are knocking on the door to perimenopause, we're starting to realize just how much hormones affect us. I was just having a full-on hot flash before I went onto the call, and I was just like, please don't let me be drenched by the time I get on here. So it was yeah, it's a really good course to have.
It is. It's a great course.
Yeah. Body, Mind, Spirit 1 course discusses how nutrition plays an important role in maintaining optimal mental health as well. So very important. That's actually one of my favorite things about the program that I learned. We also then go into Body, Mind, Spirit. It discusses the connections between physical disease and emotional psychology, and there's some spiritual themes as well. There's a little bit of a backbone based in like Ayurveda and Chinese traditional medicine. We have those kind of discussions in this course too. So it's a very great course. And then who better to explain the business course than Vita, who is the instructor. So Vita, I'm going to pass this one over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, most definitely I could discuss this. So the business course has recently been updated. So very exciting and a lot of exciting things for you all to experience and learn there. We're also one of the very few schools that offers a business course. So upon graduating, you will feel equipped with the knowledge, the skills, the tools to actually start and navigate your practice, including the legalities of it. So I wasn't lying when I said CSNN was life-changing and not just about dietary and lifestyle. There's so much more attached to the program. The curriculum covers essential topics such as understanding the legal requirements. We'll go through identifying your ideal client, effectively marketing your services both online and in person. And by the end of the course, you'll have the skills and confidence to work with clients while adhering to the scope of your practice, your code of ethics, and your legal standards that all work to protect the public yourself, hopefully as a future practitioner, and to just uphold the reputation of the field as a whole. So in summary, what I can say is the business course is super exciting, and it's a course that not only enhances your nutrition knowledge, but also provides you with the tools and strategies to effectively apply the knowledge that you learn in a real world setting and ensuring the legal compliance of it all.
Thanks, Vita. We're going to start off with Module 3 with biochemistry and epigenetics. So this course explores the chemistry of living things and the new science of epigenetics that shows us how our environment by way of lifestyle and diet can actually change our genetic expression. How crazy is that? Our environment changes our genes. So this is I found a really enlightening and exciting class. Next is pathology and nutrition. This course presents common pathological disorders, conditions that systematically stress body systems. And there is a discussion about the underlying causes of these disorders and learn about the nutritional and lifestyle strategies that are appropriate for recommendations for clients who may have these health conditions. And Julie, I think you love pediatrics, so I'm going to let you talk about pediatrics.
Yeah. I won't be long, but it's one of my favorite courses, especially the brand new textbook is fabulous, written by a nutritionist from Toronto. So and it's got lots of colorful pictures in it, but lots of comprehensive information too. It's been brand new, newly updated. So it's offers the latest research and recommendations for supporting healthy, active children, something that every parent strives for. So all I can say is I just wish I had this when I was raising my 2 children, but better late than never, I say. I use it now as a cookbook. It's got incredible, really healthy recipes at the back, fantastic pictures. So I use it more than my usual Pinterest recipes. So
Absolutely. Yeah, it covers like prenatal all the way to toddler and young child levels. So it's just a really great comprehensive program.
yes, cool.
Yeah, so then you also have something to say about the sports course, right?
That's right. I won't be long, but I'm so
Okay.
excited about the sports thing too, because it offers really well researched insights into the connection between nutrition and sports performance. It covers key topics such as hydration, sports supplements, and how to determine like optimal fluid, calorie, carbohydrate, fat, and protein needs tailored to your specific sport and goals, which is something that before I became a registered holistic nutritionist, I found that very difficult to get balanced when I'm working out. So it also provides targeted advice for vegetarian athletes, females, young and competitive athletes, which, well, I guess I'm in the I'm in the column of female, but I don't fit any of the other columns. But really, it helped me personally and my clients in determining like a timeline and when and what to eat before and or after workouts. So that was a big question mark for me in my life, and this course answered all my questions. So it's
Yeah.
fantastic too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few on this list. I mean, when I enrolled in the program, I felt a little intimidated about the science courses. It had been like 25 years since I'd been to school, and I was like, how on earth am I going to be able to navigate this? But you know what? I have to say, the anatomy and chemistry courses gave me a new appreciation for the sciences. They're not that scary. There's help there if you ask the question, ask for help, that it's there. Yeah, and it was, you really learn about what processes are happening in your body, which I find fascinating. So I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm geek now, I guess. Yeah. So the next course and this is our last module, the eco nutrition is the first course in our module 4. And this course talks about how we as humans influence our environment, how we're messing up our environment, and how it has changed the nutritional values in our food. This course is not all doom and gloom. Did you see what I did there? That was wild.
I like that.
Yeah. It's not all doom and gloom. We're actually talking about some solutions to the environmental crisis that we are facing. Yeah, really, really cool. And then I guess next is allergies. So allergies, like we have an epidemic in allergies, it seems. Every kid I know has a peanut allergy or something going on. So we're talking about this allergy epidemic and, and what's happening, or, living in a polluted world, how is that contributing to allergies? Consuming fast food, just doing things that are not strengthening our immune systems and digestive systems to, withstand our environment really. And helps to, by following some simple philosophies, you might actually, we talk about how maybe this helps to reduce the risk of allergies and maybe ways to transform your health. So very interesting. And then a world where we're being inundated with information and claims and the research, that's why we've created this research course to teach us how to find, evaluate, and communicate credible information to clients. How do we discern what is good research and what is not? There's a lot of stuff out there that just isn't right, isn't accurate. So how do we figure that out? So that's what we cover in the research course. And then finally, we end up with the fun course. I love this course, Introduction to Practical Use of Herbs. Here we have several commonly used herbs that we discuss with regard to their properties and their constituents. In addition, we talk about techniques in harvesting, preparing for preparation, recipes, and lots of different ways to use them. So really, really fun course to take. So in the Natural Nutrition Diploma program, students are given 3 years to complete their studies. We estimate that the average person usually should commit about 20 hours per week. They can expect to complete the studies within about 2 years or so. The actual time required to complete is really going to vary depending on the student. There's so many factors like reading speed, comprehension, work, family, parents, life circumstances. So that's all going to have impact on your time. That being said, the program is self-directed and self-paced, so it's possible to complete that program faster as well if you're putting additional time into your studies. Payment plan options are available for the Natural Nutrition program as well. You have a choice of 2, 4, 6, 12 monthly payments even. You'll see here there's a breakdown of the cost and the total amounts here, depending on the option that you choose. This information is also located in that program options and supporting documents document that I mentioned as well. So if you'd like to get a copy of that, please send us an email and we'll be happy to send that along to you. Payments are usually scheduled from the date you first pay your first tuition payment, and then they're automatically processed on either on or the next available business day using the payment method that you've provided on file. If you choose multiple payment plans and find that you're moving through the program faster than you expected, you can always send us an email to request an earlier payment to get earlier access to the next section of the program. The Natural Nutrition program, how many times can we say this, is tax exempt. Is there anything in this world that's tax exempt? But apparently our Natural Nutrition program, the full program, is tax exempt. And there's also a final board exam cost that's paid when you're ready to write the exam. And currently it's $239.27. So to be exact, it includes your first year of membership with our CSNN Alumni Association, which I'll get into a little bit later in the presentation. And then you also get a tuition receipt. So we call the T2202A tuition receipt. That you submit to the CRA every year. In Canada, it's we mail it at the end of every February, and it covers the value of the courses you've completed in the previous calendar year. So as soon as a course is graded and finalized, it's considered finalized. It gets added to the value of that course gets added to your tuition amount, and we'll mail that out to you at the end of February. Yeah, and we have community, right? We're talking about community. We're working in our homes alone, or and how do we connect with people and develop information. And Vita, we've mentioned already, you host the mentorship hour. I'm gonna let you talk about that for a sec.
For sure. Thank you, Christine. Yes, I get so excited about the mentorship hours. We're very thrilled to offer these hours twice a month, and they're designated to provide support, guidance, and a real true sense of community. So I promise you won't feel like you're alone at home by yourself doing the program on your own. We're right there with you, literally a screen away. So one session a month is dedicated exclusively to case studies, as Julie has mentioned. So what does this mean? This means during these sessions, we walk you through the process of writing case studies. We provide you with tips, strategies. And the best part is we provide real-time answers to all your questions to help you write your case studies. So you wouldn't have to wait like 24 hours or 48 hours to hear a response from your instructor. You can bring your questions to the mentorship hours and get the responses right then and there. The second mentorship hour sessions that happen the same month are similar to the case studies in the sense that it's a non-judgmental space, it's super safe, it's comforting. Here we talk about kind of like an open forum. You get to have support with concepts that you might be struggling with in the course. Maybe you're struggling to grasp something. I personally thought I was going to have trouble with science as well, coming from a law background, but like I said, the program is so well done and your instructors are there right by your side. So if you have any questions, the mentorship hours would be a great place to bring them as well. And I guarantee you other students probably have the same questions, so don't feel alone. It's an opportunity to gain valuable practical takeaways that you can apply right then and there. So that's really exciting. Beyond that, it's just a chance to help you build meaningful connections, meet other students who are in the program. And it creates a classroom-like setting from the comfort of your home. And that's kind of how I like to put it. And I can't wait to see you guys hopefully there and kind of help you thrive with your studies there.
That's right. I'm the admin for the Facebook group. So we also have a Facebook group that's only open to existing students and graduates. So no members of the public are permitted to join. You have to be a student to participate. But there, I've seen some really like beautiful things on the Facebook group. People struggling and people stepping up and adding encouragement. It's just such a really nice nice thing to see. It's very fun. So let's move on to designations. What can you call yourself after you've graduated in the program? So in Canada, there are 3 designations that are exclusive to CSNN graduates of the Natural Nutrition Diploma program. So they're RHN, CHN, or CHNC. So Registered Holistic Nutritionist, Certified in Holistic Nutrition, or a Certified Holistic Nutritional Consultant. The use of the designations and titles really is going to vary depending on the province you or your client resides. So that's important information to know. So if you're in, BC, we get a lot of students in BC, Ontario, for example, you generally go with Registered Holistic Nutritionist. But you have clients, for example, in Alberta, I think there's a province in the East Coast as well. You probably would be using Certified in Holistic Nutrition or Certified Holistic Nutritional Consultant. These titles are proprietary to CSNN. So if you see somebody with these titles or designations, it indicates they are graduates specifically from our school as well. So if you're ever looking for people who've, taken the program and have gone through it and you're looking for some recommendations, if you see those titles, maybe ask them some questions about it. I'm sure they love me now as I, just volunteered every graduate as a as a recommendation for us. Anyway, so moving on. So yeah, so for information specifically about the titles and designations, I would recommend that you take a look at the CSNN website. This is the link to the website specifically. I also have links in that document I mentioned for program options and supporting documents. So please request that, and we have links to that directly, so you don't have to search for it. Ultimately, graduates have to be vigilant that they are using the designations which respect the laws which are applicable in both where they offer the professional services and where their clients live. So this is information that's applicable to Canada. If you are in the US or if you're in other countries, the title may be different depending on their rules and regulations. So always to be vigilant. Members of third-party special interest organizations can also be beneficial. Our membership to these can be beneficial, but they're not mandatory in Canada, but they're very helpful. If you reside, membership to these organizations obviously is subject to their requirements, but if you reside outside of Canada, it's recommended that you thoroughly research the requirements for that state and country. And the following slides are going to introduce you to the organizations that recognize the CSNN program for membership. So we have the CANNP, known as the Canadian Association of Natural Nutritional Practitioners. And we also have CanPro, known as the Canadian Association of Holistic Nutrition Professionals. So these are Canadian organizations that recognize our program. These are both well-established professional organizations with a clear focus on business success. They strive to deliver outstanding benefits, and they really try to empower like nutritional counselors with a collective voice. It's really nice to have that extra support after you've graduated. Advanced workshops for upgrade hours that we offer are going to also fulfill some of the hour requirements from these membership organizations as well. In the USA, the ability to practice holistic or natural nutrition really actually depends on state regulations. So to figure that out, the requirements are, I'd suggest checking out the Nutritional Advocacy Group and the NANP, also known as the National Association of Nutrition Professionals. So they'll have information about what you can and can't do in the state where you may reside or where your client may reside. And finally, relatively new, I think we've had a partnership with CanPro now for almost a year. CanFit Pro has agreed to accept our culinary certificate, our healthy eating certificate, the introductory certificate, up to 4 hours towards their continuing education credits for their members. So that's a really nice new partnership that we've developed. Anybody who is registering before November 30th, by typing November 100, the $, in the comments section of the registration form for the Natural Nutrition Diploma program, we will give you $100 off of your tuition. So there's 2 ways to complete the Natural Nutrition Diploma program. You can jump right into the Natural Nutrition Diploma program, and certainly that's the best value. For people who are maybe a little hesitant to start jumping into that full program, we offer you the option to start with the introductory certificate package. The introductory certificate package is the first 2 courses of the Natural Nutrition Diploma program. And then once you've completed those courses, you're then invited to register into the remaining courses, starting with the anatomy and physiology course. The certificate of completion is issued for the introductory certificate package, provided that you have an overall grade average of 80% or higher. Students who complete the introductory certificate and then register for the full program, you actually receive an adjustment to your tuition because you've already taken the first 2 courses. And then we're going to give you the 3 years to complete the program. So you're actually getting 3 years, 6 months technically by doing this. There's actually currently no requirement for you to immediately rush into the full program after you've completed the intro. So you can potentially, take a few months to register for the full program if you need to. These courses are not what did I write? However, these courses will not be recognized if registration to the full program, if the graduation requirements change. We actually just changed these courses. So these courses are the fundamentals 1 and 2 courses are recommended for the full program. My apologies. This was I did this a few months ago when we were just changing into the newer version of the program. So the program cost of the introductory certificate calculates as follows. So it is $683.53 plus your provincial sales tax. And so I've listed the taxes below. No, there's no taxes on materials that are shipped outside of Canada. So if you're a resident of the US, for example, we don't charge tax if we're shipping, but you will be required to pay shipping charges to ship any materials to you. And of course, with all of our programs, textbooks and study materials are included in all of these costs. Students are given 6 months to complete the introductory certificate package. And I recommend to people, though, if you're doing about 20 hours per week, maybe try to get this done within about 3 months instead of the 6 months. It might be a good indicator about your time management and how you'll be able to kind of manage your time when you're moving through the rest of the full program if you're enrolled that way. Okay. So when you decide to move to the full program from the intro, as I mentioned, we actually adjust the fees, and we figure that that's probably the fee adjustment is about $583. And here's an example of the adjusted fees based on the payment plan. Again, this information is provided in the program options and supporting documents attachment that we can provide to you. There's also individual courses. Sometimes people just are interested in a specific topic, and so we offer some of our courses, not all of them, as individual courses. We're intending this to be intended for the hobbyists, who just have that specific interest, but if you finally decide to move over to the full program, because you've already taken that course and provided it's still a graduation requirement, we would provide credit for that course that you've already taken. We just have to keep in mind that our program is always under review. It's always on update. So if you do take a course that is no longer a graduation requirement, then the credit would not be transferred to your transcripts. It's only the thing to consider. Oh, we're almost to the end. So healthy eating and lifestyle certificate. So for those who are not really interested in credentialing, they're just trying to get their feet wet and trying to figure out what the heck natural nutrition is in the first place. So this is what this is. This is for the crowd that are just trying to figure it out for themselves. So we offer our healthy eating and lifestyle certificate. It was just developed in response to some people who just wanted some general quick information about it, about what natural nutrition is all about. It's a series of fun little workshops that give you a sneak peek into what holistic nutrition is. It provides you some holistic nutrition and tips for you and your family. There's no prior knowledge of holistic nutrition needed. And after you complete the workshop, students receive a certificate of attendance. Students are given 2 months to complete it. So there's 10 courses. I think they're little courses. They probably take maybe 2 hours each to complete. So it doesn't take very long. You have 2 months to complete it. If you're not able to complete it within the 2 months, there is a subscription fee you can pay for ongoing membership to complete them. But generally speaking, it can be done very easily. We estimate the average person would need to put in around 5 to 10 hours per week to be able to complete it on time. Julie, did you have anything? We used to talk about the healthy eating certificate. Did you have anything to add?
Yes, I just found that even me with all of my education, there's always more to learn in this profession, and that's why I love being an instructor, because I learn a lot from the students too. There's always so much to learn. But the healthy eating covers everything from foods high in antioxidants, and why do we want foods high in antioxidants? That's the buzzword lately, right? So it just clears up a lot for people that are interested in nutrition. Don't want to really read it on the internet just in case you're not on the right source. There's all sorts of different sources, as we all know, with the internet. That's why you have to come to our school to take the research course, so you know which good information is actually good information. So we've been doing this for 30 years, this school, and we really have the nutrition end of it down pat. So we're probably the best source right now if you're just interested in finding just anything to do with probiotics. Everyone's talking about probiotics. Well, what exactly are they? So yeah, I think it's really valuable for people. I'm trying to get all my sisters into it. So
Right.
but instead they pick my brain. So anyway.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, this is just like a real basics, a back to basics, like just
Yeah.
introduction,
Yeah.
just to sort of get you started and kind of dispel a lot of myths that might be out there in the industry. So very, very cool. Thanks, Julie. Um, and then finally, the healthy eating and lifestyle certificate. So if you're wondering about the cost, we actually reduced the cost. We reduced the cost of the healthy eating lifestyle certificate, and we reduced the cost of the yeah, so that it just made it more accessible to people. And as a free bonus, we're actually also giving you access to the alternative baking and sweets workshop that is currently offered in the holistic culinary certificate. So it's very, very cool. Once you've completed all courses in the certificate, you have lifetime access to this program as well. We don't kick you out. Once you're finished, you can go in there and take a look anytime you want. And there's some nice little print offs, like little recipe books and things like that that you can take with you. It's important to note that if you're unable to complete all the courses in the certificate, you can still have access to lessons. And as I mentioned, it's a monthly subscription. We charge $30 plus tax per month until you're finished. And then once you're finished, the subscription fee stops and you have continued access. Okay. Now, moving on, holistic culinary certificate. This is exciting. We just got this, we just put this together probably a couple of years ago, and we've had a lot of really great feedback. We professionally produced a series of 10 workshops and by video. And so basically, you're learning about the holistic cooking. And it teaches you everything from the basics like foods, grains, legumes, greens, broths, special baking techniques, that kind of thing. And they really have something to offer to everyone. And these classes have I mean, you can be a beginner or you can be a more experienced cook. Students walk away with a more enriched skill set in holistic cooking. And it just helps to benefit everybody's health. So this course does not require the purchase of any textbook. Everything is completely online. And the workshops are video based, as I mentioned, and you have the opportunity to complete a recipe that's demonstrated in the video. And to get a completion, basically you prepare a recipe, take a picture of it, and then upload it to a forum where you're going to share, maybe you change the recipe a little bit. You're welcome to be creative and experiment. So you can take a picture, upload that to the forum, share maybe a variation of the recipe that you prepared. And it sort of turns into this really nice little recipe sharing forum as well. Really fun. For those who, as I mentioned, taking it, you get a certificate of attendance, and there's continuing education units with CanFit Pro, which is really great. You have to have a passing grade of 75%. So, and you don't get graded about whether you burn the broth. Don't worry about that. We just want you to try. That's all. That's how you pass the course. So that's all good. And a reminder that the certificate is automatically included with the Natural Nutrition Diploma program. So if you're planning on taking the Natural Nutrition Diploma program, you do not have to register for the Holistic Culinary Certificate. You're not going to get a credit towards your tuition if you take this first and then take the Natural Nutrition Diploma program, unfortunately. Again, students are given 2 months to complete the holistic culinary certificate, and all online resources are provided. We estimate the average, again, about 5 to 10 hours to finish it. It's going to vary depending on what it is. If you're registered into the Natural Nutrition Diploma program, we give you access to the culinary certificate on day 1. So you'll have access throughout the entire 3 years to complete any of the requirements in that certificate. Julie, you love this certificate too. We were talking about that.
Yes, we were saying how I feel like I've been in the kitchen my whole life, but when I actually took this course, I just details like like I now try to ferment all my vegetables or do kombucha, things like that that I've never really had,
Right.
you
Like
know,
what is kombucha, right? Like we don't everybody hears it's all right. It's like a hipster thing, right? Oh, it's kombucha, drink the kombucha. But
It's
You know,
delicious.
it's a really great source of probiotic. It's great for your digestion, right? So
Mhm.
how do you make it? And you can actually make it for pennies.
And I don't even have to pay $8 a bottle anymore to buy
I
it.
know. You walk into a health food store, how much are you paying? Yeah, $8. Ridiculous.
And bone broth. The bone broth instructions are really great in this course too. I mean, I always threw bones in a pot and hope for the best. But this a few little extra tips on that. It's like, wow, this makes such a huge difference. So I'm
Yeah.
doing bone broth a lot, especially now that it's becoming winter,
Oh,
unfortunately.
it makes so much, soup is just so much better with bone broth rather
Oh
than
my
stock. It's
gosh.
just so much better.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
great. So tips
Yeah.
like that just are really, really
Amazing.
healthy.
Amazing. Yeah, so for anybody who's just interested in the culinary certificate, this is the price breakdown. Again, it's in the program options and supporting documents. So if you're interested, please request that. Amazing. Okay, the Alumni Association. So what happens after you've graduated? And so we have the CSNN Alumni Association. It's a not-for-profit. It's dedicated to the support and the advancement of our graduates for CSNN in the Natural Nutrition Diploma Program. Their mission is to establish the alumni organization is kind of the starting point for your CSNN graduates, for our graduates. The final board exam that you write actually includes your first year of membership with the Alumni Association. So you can decide whether you want to continue your membership or not after 1 year. So that's been great. And they have so many resources. They have, monthly webinars, they have, discounts on liability insurance, connections to companies that can, help you augment your programs and maybe help with additional, money coming into your business. So that's pretty exciting. And through community information partnership, they're just really trying to support us as professionals, which is really great. Yeah, so that's
They have a great, excuse me, they have a great conference. They organize a
oh, yeah,
fantastic conference every year
yeah.
in Toronto and Calgary, I believe it is. And you can do it virtually, where they have incredible guest speakers.
Well, they don't do it virtually anymore, unfortunately, but they do it live, but
Mhm.
there are vendors, like all of the vitamin supplement companies come out. As a graduate, you can set up accounts with many of the supplement companies, which is great. So they come out, they're marketing to us. We get lots of freebies, little
Yes,
packages,
lots of
lots
free.
of lots of informational sessions. It's just amazing. It's a
Yeah,
really
and
great
it's just a
experience.
sea of holistic nutritionists. It's so much
Yeah,
fun. I come
it's like they
home.
exist. Yeah, they're all
I know,
unicorns in
from
one
all
room.
over
Yes.
Canada and the States. I come home and I literally can't talk that night. I've talked
Because we've
so
been
much.
talking all day. Yeah, yeah, it's so fun. So
No,
it's
it's
like
really fun.
you've
So
been in
we're
the
all,
room with your people. Yeah,
yes, it's
absolutely.
really cool.
Yeah, so fun. Yeah, for any information, csnnalumni.org is the website. So if you're interested in some general information, I would check them out. Now it comes to questions. Does anybody have any questions? Please feel free to put that into the chat box. Or Caleb, have you had come across any questions?
Yes, Christine. The first thing that comes to mind for me is, let me scroll up to it. There was a prospect interested in what the quizzes, tests, assignments, what do they consist of? How are students assessed in each individual course?
Yeah, and they're going to
So
be assessed in different ways, depending on the course. The instructor worked very closely with us when we're developing the programs online. Quizzes are generally auto-graded, so they're things like true, false, fill in the blank, place this in order, ABC, pick A, B, C, or D, that kind of thing. When you're looking at a test, usually a test comes at the end of a larger course. And again, it's true, false, fill in the blank, all of those things. But then there'll be several, maybe 5 or 6 questions at the end that are sort of, a question, and then you're going to type your answers in there. All of our quizzes and tests are open book. So don't panic. I mean, our passing grade for the Natural Nutrition Diploma program is 80%, but the quizzes and tests are open book. You can refer to your materials while you're doing your quizzes and tests. So that's, I think, sets us aside from other versions of our program, is that you can refer to your materials. There is a timer, keep in mind. So it does it does count down. You have to complete the quiz and test within the timer that's provided. It doesn't stop when you exit or enter that quiz, but as long as it's done within that time period, you're good to go, and you can refer back to your materials as you're going through. There's also assignments. So the assignments could be PowerPoint assignments. They could be just done in Word or that kind of thing, and they're completed. And then we have a portal for that assignment that you're just going to upload it into the learning management system. The instructors then receive a notification, and then they have approximately 14 business days to review and grade your assignment.
What are some examples of some of the niche assignments that we have within a program? Something
Well, just
that's
right out, like starting out, like we get you started pretty early. So in fundamentals 1, for example, we are going to ask you to choose a vitamin or mineral. And then we have a series of questions for that assignment. So we want you to build a PowerPoint deck to answer those questions. So pretending that you're going to do a presentation to a group on a specific vitamin or mineral, and then you're going to answer those questions in the deck. So that's to get started. Fundamentals 2, it's your first introduction to what does a meal plan look like? How do you build a meal plan in the first place? So we're going to give you some instructions about what that looks like. So you're going to answer some questions about that. Gosh.
Well,
Anatomy,
business
you
course,
do
eh, Vita?
anatomy presentations. So yeah.
Yeah, and the business course, Vita, that has a great, well, 2 great assignments, I think. I feel like they just prepare you for what you're going to be faced with once you graduate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the business course has 2 assignments. One is the marketing assignment and one's the branding. So marketing would be you doing the PowerPoint presentation where you pick 3 platforms. So it could be Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. There's probably going to be so many more by the time you guys enroll. So lots to choose from. And you just go through the pros and cons of them, which one would appeal best to your client. And you really get to delve into the pros and cons of those platforms for your business in the future. So it's great exposure early on. The branding assignment is super exciting too. It's an opportunity for you to record a video. So those of you who, excel more verbally, I guess this would be fun for you guys, where you talk about your ideal client and target market, and you really start to niche down where you want to focus on post-graduation. And the best part of this is that there's no wrong or right answer per se. It's because you get real-time advice and guidance from your instructor so that you leave the program knowing exactly how to market yourself and what clients to target so that you can get your business up and running and hopefully attract those clients. So I find it super exciting. And like Julie says, as an instructor, I'm always learning so much from the students. So I'm really excited for you guys to join, and I hope you do.
It's fun
awesome.
to see everybody's creativity. It's really great. Yeah. Good to
Yeah.
see.
We're not pitching necessarily just true, false, multiple choice, auto-graded questions within our content. Do they exist within the content? Absolutely. A basic course structure would look like you have your lesson, and then we have a short little 10-question quiz at the end of that lesson just to make sure that you're on the right page from that previous lesson. And that will be auto-graded, but for the most part, the bulk of our grading is done manually, and we like to really put emphasis on the assignments, the hands-on practice for each course.
Yeah, learning takes effort. So it's putting the effort into those assignments, and that's how you really learn and you'll learn and really understand the content. So we want to leave you with as many skills as we possibly can leave you by the time you've graduated the program.
Okay, so the next question, Christine, was about the final exam. How long is it? What can be expected? What is the final exam?
So we are doing a change, Caleb, and I am going to let you answer that question because I don't remember. I think we just have a case histories now. We used to be a much more complex exam. We've now simplified it, and it's going to be effective in the new year. So we're looking at basically a case histories, and there's a series of questions that you're going to answer about this client. So a case histories is an outline of a client, their age, their, occupation, their lifestyle, the problems or concerns that they're experiencing, that kind of thing. And then we have a number of questions. So things like, what kind of lifestyle recommendations would you provide to this client? What kind of supplements would you suggest? What kind of nutritional recommendations would you make? So those are the kinds of questions that we would ask you to answer.
I would like to reiterate at that point is most students who make it to the final exam end up graduating the program. The hard part with the program is actually putting the time in and working your way through the program. A lot of people have a lot of anxiety when it comes to the big bad final exam, and it really isn't that bad. And it's just to make sure that we know that you know what you're talking about and you have the information on hand. If you make it to the point of the final exam, there's a very good chance that you're going to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
For anybody who needs additional information, if anybody needs to leave early, there's also I've just put up the contact information for us, so you can certainly contact us in a number of different ways. There's a email, our 1-800 number, and then our hours of operation. I'm typically in the office Monday to Thursday. I usually start answering calls around 10. And around 10 to 3:30 is usually my time where I'm answering phone calls in and around all the other things that I'm up to. So that helps in case you're wondering when to call.
okay. The next question, Christine, is from Tina. She states, I work full time and I'm a bit concerned about whether they'd be able to make the 20 hours per week commitment to the studies. Is there an
It
ability to
doesn't have to
extend?
be, yeah, it doesn't have to be 20 hours. I'm saying it 20 hours if you're doing it in 2 years. Remember, we're giving you 3 years. So if you're trying to complete the program in 3 years, you're probably looking around 10 to 12 hours per week. And then look at the times, like we have teachers and we have seasonal workers who are taking this program. So they may only be able to put in a few hours per week, but then when they're off, either because of their schedules or summer holidays or whatever that be, they kind of then double down and try to catch up that way. It's also really interesting. Busy people get things done faster. It's a very interesting phenomenon that there's a lot of saying, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. They know how to work their schedule and time manage. And that's also why I'm here. If you're struggling, um, don't be shy. Like squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like let us know what's happening. I am a graduate of the program. I work full time. I take continuing education as well on a regular basis, and I have to squeeze it in to my busy lifestyle. So I can probably give you some tips to get through it.
Absolutely. The goal is to make sure that we want all students to be able to pass on time. That is the goal. In the event that you don't, there is an extension policy in place, and the caveat to that is students would just have to pay for and update any courses that would have changed during the duration of their enrollment to meet the graduation requirements in place at the time of that extension. So say we had another course that we completely rewrote it from front to back, that would be a new graduation requirement for the program. And if you weren't able to complete on time, you would just have to take the new updated course to make sure you're graduating with all the current material.
And not take that means not taking the whole program again. It's just like
Precisely.
the
Yeah.
individual
Just the
individual
chunk.
courses that have been updated. That's right. Just to clarify.
Then the next question is, what if I fail a quiz? Is there a chance to retake or rewrite the exam?
Yeah, I mean, there's there's some things in there, right? So keep in mind that a quiz is probably worth like 0.5% of a
I,
grade of your overall grade. Do you have the number for that? Do you know what
Yeah,
that
I was actually
percent is?
running some math about that just the other day, and every individual course maths out to be about 2% of the overall grade.
Okay,
So
so keep that in mind. But if you do an assignment or a quiz or a test that is under 60%, you can immediately request a rewrite. There is a fee. I think it's $75 to do a rewrite. So you want to make sure it's going to have the most impact on your grade. And then And you don't have to have 80% in every single course to pass the program. So you get, if you have a grade of 78% in, epigenetics, but you have 90s in all of your courses, it's hardly going to affect your grade level anyway. So just keep that in mind. And if it's under 60%, you can do a rewrite for sure. If it is between 60 and 80%, we actually just kind of tell you to hold tight, and we see what your overall grade average is going to, kind of boil down to. If by the end of the program, we find that maybe your grade average is just a little bit, maybe difficult, it might be difficult to pass with the final, do the final board exam and still pass with that grade level, we're going to have that conversation with you. In that case, we can sort of strategically make some recommendations about what you may or may want to rewrite or look at. It rarely happens. I think it happens like 1% of the time. It hardly ever happens. So
Yeah.
as
Like,
long as you're taking your time and you're absorbing the information, you're not rushing, you don't start a quiz or a test 5 minutes before you have to go pick up the kids at school, right? So just make sure you, schedule that time and you're taking the time. And when we're scheduling the time for quizzes and tests, we make sure you have more than ample time to complete that assessment as well. So you shouldn't feel rushed when you're going through it.
Yeah, and to touch base on the final board exam, if by chance you didn't pass the program for the first attempt, there is one more attempt allowed on the final exam. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's full force. We don't leave you on your own and say, here, you have another attempt to go, you're done with it. We schedule meetings with you. We schedule one-on-ones with our lead instructor, Julie here, who will go over how to write exams and make sure you really get the information to succeed. We don't want anybody failing. We're in the education industry. There's a really big falsehood of the education industry where you feel punished for not being successful within it. We're here to teach. We're not here to punish. We want to make sure that you succeed in the end. And I don't believe in any policy that punishes somebody just because they weren't able to pass something. If given the opportunity to succeed, and they will succeed.
Yeah. Okay.
Just the next question is, as a personal trainer, is it legal within the scope of practice to create meal plans even though we're not dietitians within Canada?
So I guess, do you want to answer that question, or should I? We can both answer it if we like. We can add to one another's answer if you like.
For sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so to start off with, technically the field of holistic or natural nutrition is a self-regulated field. So there's no regulation that says that what you can and can't say to somebody. The caveat is that we are not medical practitioners. So we cannot say, oh, you have diabetes, therefore you should eat this way to control your blood sugar. That's not our approach. We may say, oh, you have diabetes, and maybe provide some education about what diabetes is, and maybe, maybe some recommendations, but always we must defer to a healthcare practitioner. So the doctor, the diabetes coach, the dietitian at the hospital. So we cannot override medical advice. So that's something. We are here about education and providing information for people to help establish their health and wellness goals. And we're not here to provide medical advice, if that's clear.
Yeah, those are great points. I'll just quickly chime in here. Great question. So essentially our role is to educate and empower clients, right? And so providing meal plans is part of what we do in terms of the education portion. We need to provide dietary recommendations and the corresponding nutrients to address a body system or a symptom that a client is having. So yes, as a graduate of the program, you are allowed to provide meal plans and to educate your clients on that. Where you want to be careful is kind of what Christine was alluding to. We do not diagnose any diseases, so we would not be permitted to use any words such as heal, treat, cure, diagnose. That's not within our scope of practice. And that's not to say that we don't provide any value. I strongly believe that all healthcare practitioners are trained and educated in their own field. And that's why I recommend to all of my students and clients that it's very important that we work with a team of healthcare practitioners to have multiple brains looking at an issue that we're dealing with. So don't underestimate the value that you can bring to the table, but just be mindful that we need to work within our scope of practice, and your scope of practice and code of ethics would be provided to you. So you'll have that all written out, what you can say, what you can't say, what you can do, and what you cannot do. So it's stipulated for you nicely. So once you get that, it will make a lot more sense. And if you have any questions about that, again, feel free to contact us, and you'll learn a lot about it in the business course as well.
Yeah. In that program options and supporting documents I mentioned again, there is a link actually to our scope of practice and our code of ethics provided in the brochure. So you can refer to it directly, and you can go through the list of all of the things that we advise our graduates to follow.
Okay. The next question is there any internships required to get certified, and do we provide that?
Actually, no. There's no practicals. There's no internship. We're distance online. We offer this program internationally to all over the world. So we do not administer an internship specifically. It's not actually required to practice.
Wonderful. And the next question has to do with the weighting of each individual courses. I am just pulling up our transcript here just so I make sure I give the right information. So just bear with me one more minute. I'm almost there. Okay. So yes, each individual core course is weighted equally. And then each one has its own credit hours. That's for a total of 50 credit hours. The course average itself is worth 35% of your overall mark. The case studies portion of the program, the hands-on stuff you work with clients and everything, is worth about 25% of your mark, with the final exam being worth 40%.
And then overall graduation is 80%. So your overall grade has to be 80. So as mentioned, potentially you have 93% in your coursework, you've done 80% in your case studies. What happens if you get 78% in your final board exam? Well, it's going to average out to over 80%, and you're still going to pass. So
awesome. That's all the questions I have in chat currently. If anybody has anything else, we can stick around for a few more minutes. Definitely happy to answer your questions. If not, we can call it a day in a couple minutes.
okay. I also have questions that I created myself in case
Let's answer those.
Let's answer those. Let's just fill in some time. Yeah, I mean, some people, we have a lot of people who are from international destinations who are interested in our program. I'm not sure what the requirements are to attend our live classes through hybrid or in person. However, through distance education, the good news is you do not have to have a student visa or permanent resident status to take our program, because it's online and it can be taken from anywhere in the world. So that's the good news as far as that goes. Another question people ask is, can I participate in class as well as through distance ed? And unfortunately, that answer is unfortunately no. Our classroom locations run by semester system, and you basically register whenever you're ready to start with us. So our programs don't align time-wise, and each classroom location is run and operated separately, and you're paying your fees separately. So they're not actually authorized to provide educational advice unless you're enrolled directly into their program specifically. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see.
Christine says, thank you for the great presentation, answering her questions, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Bye,
Have
Christine.
a wonderful evening. there's anything, let me know. I'm happy to help.
Yeah, definitely get in touch. And I think we can probably wrap up from there. I didn't see anybody typing away or any questions pop up. I would like to say thank you to everybody who's participated. It's been great. I love to see everybody interested in our program. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Remember, we're all human beings here. And if you have any questions about our program, definitely get in touch. We're an open book. We want to help you out and make sure everybody succeeds.
Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Christine. And thank you, Vita.
My pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And we really hope to see you be part of the program. Really hope to see you in the mentorship hours. I really love them. So I hope you can be part of it.